By far, one of the biggest mistakes I see fitness trainers and other people trying to help others get fit make is this idea that losing weight or getting fit or changing your life is just a matter of eating less and moving more. This is especially something that experts make. The people with PhDs, with MDs, highly credentialed people that don't really understand behavioral change. Well, in today's video, I want to share with you some of the hidden reasons why many of us self-sabotage, especially when it comes to losing weight and just living a better life. What's up guys, Alex Hine here, author of Master the Day. Now, behind what you see a person doing or not doing is psychology, is emotion, is mindset stuff. Now, Dr. Maxwell Maltz was a plastic surgeon born in the late 1800s, and what he discovered in his plastic surgery practice was that there's a certain percentage of patients that no matter how much he changed them physically, gave the woman the perfect nose, the perfect boobs, the perfect butt, gave the guy a flatter stomach, fixed something about his face, removed a mole, there was a certain percentage that never recovered their self-esteem. So presumably they were doing this because they wanted to feel better about themselves, but when he did the surgery and they've objectively looked beautiful, they still had the same self-esteem. They didn't have confidence, they didn't change anything about their lives. They thought changing the outside would actually change. And this subset of his patients confused him so much, they ended up pondering this problem. And what he later wrote about in his book called Psycho-Cybernetics is this idea of the self-image, the self-identity, and that our actions are only aligned with our self-identity. So it doesn't matter the physical outside. If we believe we're beautiful, we act as if we are. If we don't think we are, no matter how objectively beautiful we are, then we will not act confident. And he found this really interesting because the self-image is totally different, although linked to the external. Right? You could change how you view yourself in an instant. However, it's usually built off of repeated frustrations and experiences that confirm that we're ugly, we're dumb, we're smart, or we're beautiful, or we're whatever. We're gifted. Now, the first very deep insight, the secret insight on weight loss, is that sometimes people don't lose weight to protect their self-esteem. You know, I knew this kid in high school who he was always getting bad grades, but whenever the teacher would call on him, he would always make a joke, right? He'd be like, oh yeah, you know, I was busy, I had to poop for 3 hours. Just some ridiculous joke. The whole class laughed. And it's funny because he never got good grades, ever. And he was the class clown, he was playing it off. But what I realized later in life is that class clowns like this often make jokes to play off low self-esteem. So he does feel bad about himself. And he did that to kind of get the pressure off him and just, you know, diffuse the situation and avoid attacking it. It's often true with weight loss too. Like maybe there's a friend you kind of joke about. You're like, oh man, maybe you shouldn't be eating that donut. And then he laughs and he's like, yeah, but I'm a fat ass. And they say that, but often when they go home, that's when they feel the pain. And it really does bother them. And they say that because it's socially acceptable to just like make people laugh and like, you know, yeah, whatever, I'm just... But really they do feel unhappy about it. Surprising insight number 2, sometimes we don't lose weight because it is easier being the way we are now than losing the weight and seeing our life change that may affect our day-to-day routine. So that sounds abstract. Here's what I mean. I've talked to multiple women on the phone that have told me if they lose weight, they are going to have to date again. They want to date, but if they lose weight, they're going to have to date again. So why wouldn't they lose weight? Don't they want to have boyfriends? Of course, but there's a lot of fear there. There's a lot of fear of being judged, of not being good enough, of all this kind of stuff, of it not working out, a million things. So for some of us, guess what? It's easier just to stay in that realm of comfort, which is maybe it means being 50 or 100 pounds overweight, or it's financial, or it's relational, or something else. But maybe it's just easier to be in that zone where you can count on it. It's not the life you want. You can count on it and it's predictable, but at least it's gonna be there for you. Whereas if I lose 50 pounds and I'm like, wow, I'm getting attention the first time in a long time. Once you do that, things change whether or not you want them to. Because if your self-identity is still, I'm unlovable, I'm not confident, I don't deserve to be in a good relationship, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to manifest that no matter how fit you become or no matter what changes on the outside, the inside, the inner self-identity is still there. So the third insight here I actually talked about in my book. This one particular woman was a high-powered exec and she was doing the New York City lifestyle, but deep down she had this belief that she was essentially unlovable, right? She thought that she wasn't attractive. She thought that men don't like high-powered women. She thought that men don't like aggressive, dominant women. And so the underlying narrative was that I'm unlovable, right? So what happens in a case like this is that she actually ended up getting into a relationship with a guy. And at first I was super excited for her and all this stuff. I was like, look, see, you're blowing up that narrative in your head. And eventually what happened though was that as it got more and more serious, she ended up very clearly sabotaging her relationship, because that belief that he couldn't possibly love me, every little thing he did that was off became he's cheating, he doesn't love me, he's not really that into me, just this crazy neuroticism. But it stemmed from that belief. And this dude was crazy about her. He was going to propose to her. And because she started acting all weird, she changed how she interacted. She changed her phone behaviors with him. He noticed, and he's like, listen, you're like, I don't know what's going on, but you're acting a bit funny. Maybe you should just take the time to think. And they ended up taking a break because her inner belief that he can't possibly love me manifested, even though he very obviously did and was going to propose to her. It manifested because of that inner core self-identity belief. So your tiny habit for today is very simple. I want you to start thinking about, in your own life, in our own lives, what are the inner narratives, the inner beliefs that may be stopping you from getting the body, the health, and the life that you want. Especially if you talk to a trainer or a doctor or whatever, they're not going to get this stuff. Most are just not going to get this stuff, because this is the real inner juicy stuff that not that many people will tell you. They have to confide in you to be able to tell you something like this, because it's so vulnerable to be able to do something like that, especially to a stranger. But I want you to think about your own potential narrative. If you've been sabotaging yourself and you know it, what's the real underlying narrative behind it? And by the way, if you think weight loss is just about eating less and moving more, you're wrong. Hey guys, it's Alex. Did you like this video? If so, there are 3 ways you can really stay in touch with me. The first thing is obviously to click the subscribe button right there. Every single day I'm releasing a brand new Tiny Habit video to help you lose weight, feel awesome, and live better. Second thing is you can check out my book, Master the Day. Brand new, just came out, it's been topping the Amazon bestseller list, and it's been getting great feedback. It's all about the tiny success habits to help you lose your next 20 or 30 pounds and get to kind of that next level, both in your health, but also in your life. And the third thing is, come visit me over on my website, modernhealthmonk.com. Punch in your email there and I'll give you a free guide on the exact 5 daily habits to help you lose your next 20 or 30 pounds. So go do those 3 things now, and I look forward to catching you in the next video.